Okay, we have looked about going from standard form to vertex form with the calculator. There becomes a problem though when you can't find the vertex in the table. If we look at this example, we've done everything. My A is my A. I've taken my A to my vertex right here, but let me copy this. You do not have your vertex. You can't identify your vertex. Here are my symmetric pairs, but the number in here, my vertex, is not shown. When I can't find my vertex this way, I have to do algebra to get this done. So, we're going to look at these examples here. Actually, we're not going to look at it. We're actually going to go straight to an example. This is the first example we're going to do. Everything is done for you. I'm just going to show you what's happening and show you where your equations are. This is my example right here. Now, if I asked you where my A, B, and C are for my standard form, my A is 2, my B is 12, and my C is 17. We're going to eventually come down here to my vertex form, and we're going to need my A, H, and K. As I mentioned before, my A is the same. If my A is 2 in standard form, when I get to vertex form, my equation is also, my A is actually also 2. And you see that here. 2 to start off with in the beginning, 2 to start off with down here. It's this H and K that gets us harder to find. If we do it like we had been doing in the calculator, to find H and K, I would have plugged this in. I clear it off. 2x squared plus 12x plus 17. You don't need to copy this one down per se. It's just because most of it's all done for you. And then if I look at my table, I see, well, I actually see my vertex. My vertex is actually here apparently, but I guess we're just going to do it by hand anyway. If sometimes you see my vertex here, symmetric point, symmetric point, symmetric point, my vertex is in the middle here. So my vertex should be -3, 1, -1, which is listed down here. But we're going to find this by hand instead of just using the calculator like this. We're going to use this little equation right there. B over 2A. Now I've listed these out for us already. In the previous examples I've shown you how to find A, B, and C. In the very first video I even showed you where A, B, and C are explicitly. Alright, my X value here. We do -B over 2A. If you remember my quadratic formula from Algebra 1, this is also on the quadratic formula, -B over 2A, and there's some rest of it from the quadratic formula. It's an easy way to remember this. This B is this B up here. So what I like to do, I like to include, you can do it this way and keep the negative in front, or we can plug B in here. My B is 12. You see this negative in front? I just moved it to the top. I like it there. I think it's easier. I don't like the floating negative out in the front. Then I have 2, and then I have parentheses and A. Well, my A goes in there. A is 2. From there, if you want, I can use my calculator. If I don't want to do that math, I go my calculator. And this is why I like the negative on top. I can go alpha y equals, top one is my fraction, and I can do -12, parentheses in there. Sometimes B is negative. If B is negative, I would have to put a -12 in there, and there'd be 2 negatives. That's why I'm going to keep things in parentheses. And then 2 parentheses 2 on bottom. I press enter, and that's how we get -3. That is my X value. What I have found right here, this is actually my axis of symmetry. My axis of symmetry is x equals -3. That's that line, that axis of symmetry, the vertical line that goes in the middle. What we can do with this, remember this is actually also h. My axis of symmetry is x equals h, and that is this h from my vertex. So that's half of my vertex I have figured out. Then I need to find k. Well, guess what k is? K can be done by plugging these values in. What we did is I took my equation up here, 2x, but instead of x, I put this -3. That's my h. I put h in here, I put h in here. Squared, again match that squared, plus 12, there's my plus 12, and h, instead of x, I put -3 in parentheses, and then my plus 17. These equations right here, these equations are the same equation, except where I saw x, I put in my h value that I saw for right here, -3 in parentheses. And I can plug that in the calculator, just like I did here. 2, please do as much in the calculator as you can. 2, and I do my -3. When I do negatives, make sure we do the white negative at the bottom of the calculator. Plus 12 minus 3, sorry, -3, and then plus 17, and I hit. Oh, I didn't square it. You're right. Okay, copy and paste. Go over here. Second insert, and there's my square. There's my -1. Thank you for helping me there. And that is my k value. Once I have my h and my k value, my h was -3, my k was -1, I plug those in. Please remember, inside the parentheses are opposite. -3, +3, and this stay the same. -1, -1. That is my equation there.